Hey guys, it's Tess from the Latte Library, and today I'll be doing a wrap-up of my February reads. I was going to do a book haul as well, but I literally bought so many books in February, mainly because a local bookstore was having like a closing down sale, which was like 50 to 70% off. So I went all out. So I'm just gonna keep it to my Feb wrap-up, what I read. If you've been following my Instagram account, you will notice that I basically just read Lynette Noni's series, The Medoran Chronicles, which that's basically exactly all I read in February, except, so King of Scars came out in late January, and I finished it in February, so that technically counts. Sort of as a book, sort of. Anyway, I first started off with Akane. She does have another series, first book's Whisperer, I think. However, this is more my type of fantasy. I started Akane on the 5th of February. I finished King of Scars on the 2nd of February. The Medoran Chronicles, the last book came out a couple of days ago, I think on the 19th or 18th or something. And a friend of mine loves the Medoran Chronicles, and I didn't know what to read, so I was like, okay, I'll give it a go, and I picked it up. I did not read it in book form. I read it via audiobook because I wanted to read the whole series before Vardasia came out. That's what I did, so I listened to it at work and everything like that because, I don't know, audiobooks are just good for that, you know what I mean? So that's like 5 books. So putting away King of Scars, that's 5 books. That's like a record for me in a month. It was 5 books in 20 days. I kind of worked it out. But then like 6 books in a month, whatever, give or take, I don't know. February was a short month, but I just have not read 5 books in a single month in ages. It's really hard, you know, when I work full time, I just give so much energy to my job. It's just so hard to come home and be like, you know what, I want to read. It's more like, I don't know, I want to sleep, or I just want to relax and stuff like that. So I was really proud of myself. Anyway, back to Akane. The book itself, I have never been so conflicted with a book series, to be honest. But I do believe I am probably 6 years too old for this series. I think if 6 years ago, if I picked it up, I would have loved it. I would have loved it so much. And there were definitely elements to it that I did love. The fantasy was good. It's just, the main character is Alex, and you meet Alex and she's just a teenager, more on the younger side of teen. She was like 15 or something. I don't remember. She's supposed to be going to some high school because her parents dropped her off there because they're like archaeologist people. Sounds really cool. Goes to this school, some international school, ends up in a whole different world, ends up going to Akane. Sounds really cool. Akane is a school name, by the way. And it's so cool, like the concept, like walking through doors, like a magical library, cool friends. This Alex is just, I found her to be so annoying as a character. Her mannerisms, the way she spoke, the way she dealt with situations, I personally I struggled with. However, in saying that, you meet Jordan and Bear pretty early on, and they are just like the coolest duo. And they're definitely the reason why I kept reading, to be honest. And Avon, he's the bad guy. Oh no, in the fairness, the whole fantasy world, it was really good. It was like really good, that part, I swear, it really was. And that kept me reading throughout all the books. I did rate this series overall as 3.75. I would have loved to have rated it like 4 or 4.5, but the main character, she was just so consistently irritating over the 5 books. But at least she was consistent, so that's just her character. And I applaud Lynette for that. But I also think that maybe I just found her irritating because like I'm not a teenager, and maybe if I was a teenager I could relate to how she felt, but I'm not. So I struggle with that. But I think that if you're a teenager, you will love this series like crazy. I really enjoyed reading the books back to back, which is basically exactly what I did. But in doing that, and listening to the books back to back, I kind of felt like I don't remember what happened in each book. I just feel like it's just one long book. The only book that I feel like I know what was in it is Vardasia, because I recently read it and it was The first the first 2/3 were incredible. You can just tell that Lynette's writing has improved, the settings, the fantasy elements, all of it was amazing. Like, so good. The ending, the finale, I just was missing something for me personally. But again, I think that maybe Lynette made the ending that way because of her, not because of her readers, but the age group, you know what I mean? Whereas I feel like authors like Leigh Bardugo and whatnot would just be a little bit more savage. But you know what, it's fine. It did leave me feeling a little bit flat, but it was good anyway, the first 2/3 especially. As I listened to the audiobooks also, I could almost, like, there were quite a few times where I could almost finish the sentence before the narrator did. So I feel like things were quite predictable. But again, I'm not like, I'm not sure if it's just an age thing or because it was just predictable. I'm not sure. This is why I feel so conflicted, because like on one hand you're like, wow, and the next minute you're like, what? So I'm just gonna check. So I rated Akane 3 stars, and I started reading it on the 5th and I finished it on the 7th. Next we had Raylia. I also rated that 3 stars, and I started that on the 8th and finished it on the 11th. Dracora, definitely, Dracora is one of the best books in the series, I think. I think Dracora and the one after that, they're just like, they just get you. That's when it started to take me on somewhat of an emotional roller coaster. Dracora, I rated 3 stars, and I started that on the 12th and finished it on the 15th. Grey Veil, Grey Veil was savage. At the end of that, I got so sad. One of my favorite characters died, and it was just like, I don't know, it destroyed me because I can see how it made sense to kill him off. So like, why would you do that? Like, I would have preferred Alex to die than him. I'm just saying, because like, he was so good to her no matter what, and he was just so good to, like, he sacrificed so much, and it's also freaking messed up. But I feel like I'm not the only one who was sad, but everyone was sad, and it is sad. I just wish, I'm not sure how I wish it would have happened, but like, not like that. But then I'm like, oh, it makes sense, but why? Why did he have to die? I remember I was walking home from work and I was listening to it. When you listen to an audiobook, the narrator acts out the emotion, and it's just so much more intense, and I felt it. And I was walking home and I'm like, I feel so depressed. This is terrible. I just wanted to cry because I'd attached myself to this person, and you know, you could tell that he had sacrificed a lot, and then whatever. If you haven't read the series already, you'll have to, so you know what I'm talking about. But it's it's so devastating, and I feel like whoever had to wait for Vardasia to come out, like, that must have been so tough, because it was such a sad ending to the freaking book. I hate that. I love it, but I hate it. It just like messes with your emotions, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm rambling and I know it. Yeah, okay. Grey Veil, I rated 4 stars, probably because of that, and because you learn more about everything kind of thing. Oh, I didn't add a start date, but I finished it on the 20th. And then Vardasia, I rated 3 stars, and when did I start it? I started it on the 20th, and I finished it on the 25th, which is super random, because I don't remember it taking that long. Maybe I had a busy week at work or something. Anyway, I went to the Brisbane launch of Vardasia, and it's my first book launch I've ever been to, so I was pretty nervous, just because like in big crowds I get nervous and anxious and whatever. It was at a high school, which was really cool, but most of the audience were like high school students, which makes sense. This book series is perfect for high school students. Yeah, it's perfect. It's ideal. Every school should like invest in Akane, in the Midorian Chronicles, and just get their students to read it, because it's really appropriate. And yeah, if I was that age, I'd probably, yeah, like I said earlier, if I was like 6 years, even maybe like 6-7 years younger, I would have freaking like loved it. 5 stars, come at me. Yeah, so I went to the Brisbane launch, and it's really cool because they had like all this merch. they had like, oh, what do they call it? Like they had like lollipops. You know how, I don't know if you know, in Akane they have to suck it on a lollipop and it kind of just tells them what classes they're supposed to be in. So there's one of those. They had character cards, which is really cool. And you got to choose 2 pins. I chose Caden and Nikes because Nikes is amazing. For me, Nikes made that series. He did. He totally did. And Caden, because his character development intrigued me a lot from not knowing much about him. Sometimes he helps her, sometimes he has a bit of humor, but he still has lots of secrets. But you don't feel any sort of negative feeling towards him. So you don't think his secrets are bad, but you're curious as to what they are anyway. And because they're not bad, like you're more likely not to find them out anytime soon. But it was really cool and interesting. In Bad Asia though, so if you don't know, Caden is Alex's love interest. If you'd even call it that. There was always like glimmers of it in the rest of the series. But Bad Asia really sealed that. And I feel like Caden just turned into like a boyfriend, not so much what he was in the other books, which makes total sense because, you know, now they're, you know, together, whatever. But there was a part of it that just, I don't know, it just didn't sit well with me. And it's like, it's just one of those things where I'm like, yes, I want Alex and Caden to get together. I love romance in books. But then it happens and you're like, oh. Why? Like, why did that happen? It's stupid. The human brain is stupid. That's how I felt. But yeah, so February wrap up, The Midoriya Chronicles. I listened to an audiobook. If you're looking for something different to read, if you like Harry Potter, yeah. If you like Harry Potter, I think you'll like The Midoriya Chronicles. Same sort of age, same concept of friendship, which is really good. It was actually really refreshing. I want to know, have you read The Midoriya Chronicles? If you have, what did you think of it? Did you like how it ended? Was the finale really just blow your mind completely? Was it expected? If you haven't read it, do you want to read it? What are your thoughts on Midoriya Chronicles? Because I'm still very conflicted, and I guess I'd like to know if anyone else feels conflicted, and just in general what other people think. So please comment below and let me know, and please like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video.